Dear student, today we are going to discuss about the different category of the poverty and criticism of poverty line and the number of poor in India and the different other relevant topic related with the poverty. First of all, categorizing the categorizing the poor. Generally, you might see, in the book you may see some of the graph. First one is the poverty line. It is shown that is always poor. This is the poverty line which is drawn parallel to the x-axis, that is poverty line. And always poor, the people always remains below the poverty line are called the always poor. And usually poor, as you see in the second graph, the the person sometime is up above the poverty line, and mostly the person is below the poverty line. They are called the usually poor. And the churning poor, now churning poor, you will find a person, yeah, an individual who is moving frequently up and down in the poverty line, sometime up, sometime down. That is called the churning poor. Occasionally poor, just opposite of the usually poor, you will see sometimes some bad time the person is below the poverty line, or the rest of the time the person mostly lives in above poverty line, is called the occasionally poor. Now non poor, they are always above the poverty line. Now if you combine these two, that is always poor and usually poor, they both are called the chronic poor. And the churning poor and occasionally poor, both are called the transient poor. And there are non poor as well. As now criticism of poverty line. Now in this topic, the approach of the poverty line will be criticized. Now criticism number or negative point, the monthly per capita expenditure of determining poverty line is a criticism due to the following reason. The number first, the method groups all the poor together and does not differentiate it between the very poor and other poor. Now all the poor which comes below the poverty line are poor, but there may be the people which are very much poor and poor. This do not differentiate between the two. That is the criticism number first. The second point is the mechanism is helpful in identifying the poor as a group to be taken care by the government. However, it is very difficult to identify the poor who need help the most. Now all the people who are living below the poverty line, the government should help them, but which target group the government uh, focus on, it becomes very difficult. Now number 3, there are many factors other than income and asset which are associated with poverty. Only one aspect is touched by the poverty line, that is income and asset, just like a education, health, drinking, safe drinking water, and sanitation. These factors also plays a very vital role which are neglected in the poverty line. Fourth, this method does not consider social factors that generate and responsible for poverty, like illiteracy. Again, I have told you, illiteracy, ill health, lack of access of resources, discrimination, or lack of civil and political freedom. These factors are neglected in the this. These are the criticism. Now, is there any decrease in poverty level? Now, is there any decrease in the poverty level? According to the government, high rate of economic growth, increase in the agricultural production, providing employment in rural areas, and economic reform of 1991 have resulted in a decline in poverty level. Now, from 1991, in the new economic policy or LPG, which we have studied in the previous chapter, the production in all the sector, that is primary, secondary, and tertiary, increase, due to which employment opportunity generated, and the people got the employment, and the poverty is decreased in India. However, it is argued by the economists that methodology followed by the estimate the poverty line and number of poor are manipulated, but the economist believes that the data of the government is manipulated one, means that is not a real one. Actual picture is the different. Moreover, according to them, the poverty alleviation schemes of the government should aim to improve human lives by reducing obstacles like illiteracy. Until and unless illiteracy, ill health, lack of access of resources, lack of civil and political freedom, these factors should be considered more before before alleviating the poverty. Now, numbers of poor in India. Now, first of all, number of poor in India. First of all, we'll discuss about the head count ratio. What is head count ratio? When a number of poor is estimated as the proportion of people below the poverty line, it is known as the head count ratio. Head count ratio simply means if in Uttarakhand, out of 1000, if out of 1000, if 10 persons are below poverty line, it is called the head count ratio. In other words, head count ratio is calculated by dividing the number of people below poverty line by the total population, or we can say total population. Head count ratio is calculated by dividing the total number of people below number of BPL upon total population is the head count ratio. Now, on the basis of NSSO, comparable estimates of poverty are available on NSSO 1973-74 to 2011-12. You can see in the graph. 1973-74, you will find near about total is near about 50 to 60, 55% of the total population was residing below the poverty line, and it reduced to 2011 to 12, it reduced to 20 to 25%. Now, number of proportion of people below poverty line. Number of people below poverty line. In 1973-74, more than 320 million people, in the year 1973-74, more than 320 million people were below the poverty line, whereas in 2011-12, this number has come down to about 270 million. During this period, the poverty line, the number of people reduced by 50 million people have been reduced from the poverty line. In terms of proportion, in 1973-74, about 55% of the total population was below poverty line, 55, and it is reduced to in 2011-12 to 22%. Now, from 1973 to 2011-12, there has been a considerable decline in the number of poor. From this period of time, the poor have been continuously reducing, but the nature of decline, the two parameter is not encouraging. The ratio is declining much slower than the absolute number of poor in the country, but the data and proportion is not so good. In 1973-74, more than 80% of poor resides in more than 80% of the poor resided in the urban areas or rural areas, and this situation has changed even into have not changed in even 2011-12. 3/4 of the poor in India still reside in the villages. 1973-74, it was the 80%, and 2011 and 12, the percentage was 75. 3/4, that is means 75. Also, poverty which are prevailing dominantly in rural area. Now, what we can see that the poverty is the main root cause in the rural areas. In the year 1990s, the absolute number of poor in rural areas had declined. From the 1990s, the absolute number of poor have been decreased, whereas the number of their urban counterpart increases marginally. Now, in the urban areas, the BPL people have been increased from 1990. The poverty ratio declined continuously for both urban and rural areas. The gap between the absolute number of poor in rural and urban areas got reduced, whereas in the case of ratio, the gap has remained the same until the 2000 and was widened in 2011-12. The gap between the poor absolute number of poor in rural and urban areas had been widened, means becomes more broadened by 2011 and 12. Now in the next class we will discuss the poverty in the different state level. For today, thank you and have